Sync up. That should be it. That's what you have to do, is sync up.
What?
See, when you're syncing up like the audio and the video, you need to like do something that makes the audio peak so you can find it.
Alright. I thought you were taking a piss.
No.
Sync up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football episode 40. Things looking a wee bit different here. Nice to see you, David. But
no, I'm not sitting where I normally sit.
Oh.
I feel a little bit nauseous.
Nauseous?
Is that the word?
Aye,
do you mind in Madagascar, Melvin always says he feels nauseous? That's like me just now.
I've not seen Madagascar in like years.
No, the first Madagascar is amazing, by the way.
It's alright.
No,
it's
really
not quite SpongeBob, you know. It's not the same.
Fuck me.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kieran, nice to have you along, Kieran.
I know, it's nice to be here, man.
We've got the studio now, everything's all different. I mean, we done a lot of people who are regulars on my channel back in the day. Say like the Thunder, which should come back soon, I hope. Kieran was one of the people on there. You may recognise him for some of my socials. Student journalist himself, so it's not just like I'm
Johnny Hayes.
Otherwise known as Johnny Hayes. Welcome our own Johnny Hayes. I'm not just giving out passes to my pals to be on the show. Student journalist, helping each other out.
That's how I got in.
And we've got another surprise come Monday as well, so it's an exciting week for Talk Scottish Football, David.
I'm not even sure I know what the surprise is on Monday. Maybe is it a surprise for me?
You know what the other surprise is? We're going to have another new guest. Another regular.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Aye, plenty heads up your arse, you. But we're here to talk Scottish football. You know, Kieran, you're familiar with the show. You're familiar with how we work things around here, and you know what you're talking about. You're an intelligent young man, so we may as well start off with a very obvious, and that is Scotland. Like we're off the back of a very enthralling week last week in the sense that Scotland made it through to the. What are you looking at?
Celtic straight away.
That's you've got to do your best to hide what team you support. We'll let the comments try and work out who you support. Give him a clue.
Johnny Hayes.
Aberdeen then. Actually, do you know what I was actually going to start the show with? It's just came out of my head. I want you to answer a settle debate here for the Euros next year. Kenny McLean or Billy Gilmore?
I actually watched you arguing about this yesterday. As it stands, but obviously if Billy Gilmore gets a run in the team, that'll be good.
Who's a better player, Kenny McLean?
This, man.
If you just gave a clear answer, then it would solve everything, wouldn't it? You know, listen, we'll move on. Someone else actually did put that on Twitter that we should go for that again.
I know, I seen that. They want us to reignite the debate. People just aren't used to seeing us argue.
No, I'm just saying. Listen, we'll just. I want to unite the nation there. Listen, that's why I'm part of the Ollie McBurney fan club.
Doing that is Celtic and Rangers return at the weekend, unite the nation. Scotland though, we'll kick off with two of you seen the game last night. I never got the chance to. I was away filling the shelves in Tesco. Kieran, I'll start off with you. Let you open the show with an account on what you thought of the game last night. Scotland losing to Israel, which means we don't finish top of the group in the what's it called, the Nations League. Thoughts on the game itself?
I mean, I just think it was a bit painful. I mean, the position we went into the last two games, we were filled with confidence going into them, to be honest. After getting the performance of their life, to be honest, in that game against Serbia, to then let ourselves down. I mean, you could argue that the game at Slovakia was a good performance, just didn't meet the result, but I feel like last night you don't have that excuse as much. We weren't terrible, but you couldn't try and pass it off as a positive to take for it. It was just too many squandered chances, and then McTominay getting absolutely turned inside out for that goal was just...
First thing I seen when I came home, I was on Twitter. I was wondering, I was like, McTominay trending on Twitter. What's happened here? And I watched the goal. Jesus.
Yeah, for one of them, as much as it's a good goal, that's the sign of a midfielder getting turned that easy. Just if an actual defender you feel wouldn't get turned that easy, but yeah, it's a good point. I thought the Slovakia performance was brilliant, to be honest, for the large part. We've talked to death about McBurney and his missed chances, but I mean, the performance on the whole was great. I thought first half against Israel were really good. It just feels a little bit to me like we don't know how good we are. Like, see when Christie and that get the ball in final attacking areas, it's like they just don't have that confidence yet to go and take something on, try and get a bit of magic. But I think, listen, if you'd have offered us all this set of results, we'd have absolutely been your hand.
That was the next question I was going to come to Kieran about. So you were talking about, David, just a moment ago, the whole you offered the set of results, blah blah. Of course, this is a kind of kick in the hormones, if you like, towards the fact that we will not be getting an easier route to the World Cup. We've got to now go through the playoffs and the groups and qualify to go through that. if you were handed the opportunity at the start of this to just qualify for the major tournament, bugger the Nations League, would you have taken it at the time?
Aye,
Of course you would.
without a doubt. I mean, you're just thinking short term, aren't you? You're not thinking about the fucking World Cup like a few years down the
I'd
line.
rather go to Wembley than Qatar anyway. Can he drink it or not?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. I think that there's still positive signs though, and that's the thing. Like, I think we beat like Czech Republic and Slovakia at home last month. We didn't play very well. Like, we played better away to Slovakia in the first half against Israel. So we've gone from grinding out results, not playing well, to now starting to get a little bit of positives in the performance, but not quite getting the results. And again, we're not like, it's not like we're shipping goals. I mean, they're 2 goals from range. The first one, the goal against Slovakia, couldn't really do much about. Yes, McTominay could have done better for the one the other night, but defensively we still look solid enough. There's still likes of Forrest, Fraser to come back in, Griffiths to get fit. You know, that would help. You know, so there's a number of options. And listen, I don't think anyone's gonna have the smile taken off their face after last Thursday. It was actually a week, as we're recording, it's a week ago. Yeah, today.
Well, I'm going to use this transition to come off international and back into the club football, because this is a question I wanted to ask in regards to my channel. I've not really covered it at all, so I'm going to ask a Celtic fan that's sitting here, Ryan Christie, Cal McGregor. We know really so much Lee Griffiths, he's not played a lot, he's not kicked up really. McGregor and Christie, the form that they had, especially against Serbia last week, are you expecting to see that now for Celtic? Because McGregor for me strolled the game, Christie it looked fantastic. We're moving into the game against Hibs at the weekend now. Christie, McGregor, what's your thoughts on not just international break, but now moving forward with where Celtic need to go?
See, I feel like it's criminal if they don't take that form into club football, because I mean, McGregor I feel was left a wee bit wanting a wee bit going into that international break. He wasn't impressing week in week out, but he's done well in the games. He's been comfortable. He's been a good player for us. Christie has been phenomenal. Just the creative spark that I think we're going to need going back into the league, especially against Hibs. I know we've got Tom Roderick, but to have a fit Christie, hopefully doing what he does, I mean, should
I like Christie playing off the right hand side a lot as well now. Forrest being it, but what you were saying, keep going.
I mean, he's obviously a lot better playing through the middle, but he's still an asset to have out on the right, especially with Celtic lacking depth in that position. Because usually people give Forrest sticking that, but I mean, we've not got MD to replace him when it comes to it. Like, no natural right winger. We've no. Like, I did think this season we might see a wee bit more of Karamoko Dembele, for example, but he's just sort of faded into
dropped off the face.
It's so bizarre the way they've managed him, because I remember like the game was against Hearts, he came on Trophy Day a couple of years ago,
and then he was on the bench for the cup final as well.
Like, he was just ripped them up constantly. Like, why not give him a chance? Like, how can he go from that to then never get a kick? It doesn't make any sense to me.
The weird part about it is of course, it wasn't even like you can use that excuse, oh, it was Brendan Rodgers that done that. It was Neil Lennon. It was Neil Lennon who gave him that chance. He involved him in the cup final squad, put him on the bench, and now nothing to be seen. And he's still playing well for the undersides. He's still ranted and raved about. He's improving as a player. And the only excuse I can possibly think of is the physicality aspect of the game, because he's still a wee guy. But even at that,
I know. That's definitely holding him back. But just for the fact, I mean, what he's saying now, he's nearly 18.
Nearly 18 now, but
for being nearly 18, he is still built like a wee boy. I mean, you can build as much upper body strength as you want, but if you're like 5'5" in this league, you're gonna get thrown about.
I mean, who's got to deal with the left hand side constantly week in week out? The players are going to batter him at this stage.
I mean, you need to think as well, when he came over against Hearts, I mean, I know it was only a brief performance, but who was he up against? Hickey.
Would have been Hickey at the time, wouldn't it?
And Hickey himself is also built like a wee boy. So
Arms like spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's a very intriguing conversation to have, but Hibs and Celtic. We'll move away. Dembele, that's a good video to say. Karamoko Dembele.
What went wrong? Well, you can just
you can
totally just see in a couple of years' time. It's like, what went wrong?
It could potentially, but still, I mean, even if Celtic were to completely bugger up the project of Karamoko Dembele, there are so many clubs that are looking at him. So many.
It's Ham's all these young players, you just expect too much too soon. Look at Martin Odegaard at Real Madrid. He went there at 16, we all expected him to be amazing. 5 years, nothing.
Now he's only picking
flying.
up.
Now he's flying.
But the game is set. Okay, we'll start the Premiership with Hibs and Celtic. Right. Celtic, now or never, innit?
I had a wee sort of thought about this, because you've got these two games, you've got second playing fourth, first playing third. Does this have the potential to be a defining weekend title race this early on?
See, I hate to admit that at this stage of the season, only being like a third of the way through, if that. And I mean, it's a horrible thing to have to come to terms with, to actually say this might be defining in terms of the season. I'd like to say no, because there's so long left, but I mean, it's 2 massive games, and it's the teams that are going to be up there fighting for the top 4 positions.
So the way I'd kind of thought about this was, as much as that question sounds a lot like, well, this was the weekend Rangers pull away. If Celtic go and win and Rangers slip up, you're then, I mean, all bets are off at that point. I mean, you're right back in, hitting neck and neck the whole way through. And, you know, even if Celtic can go and get a win, regardless of what happens at Rangers, if they can get some form again, who knows what will happen. Just a question to both of you though: would you rather be travelling to Easter Road or playing Hibs? Is it Easter Road?
That's
It's
Yeah, I thought so. Was that just
the
double-
whole.
double
You
myself?
don't need to get it started on the Sky Bonanza. We're
Yeah.
going to
So-
watch the game.
Or would you rather have Aberdeen come to Parkhead? Which fixture would you rather have?
Aberdeen come to Parkhead.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
personally.
I'd agree with that. I absolutely despise going to Easter Road.
Well,
I mean,
it's always a fear.
even
Yeah,
in
I
the
just feel like because Rangers seem to do quite well at the moment. They seem to be in a.
We've bummed up Rangers enough. We know what to expect for them. They'll go this weekend and they will beat Aberdeen. We'll come on to that in a minute. Hibs at Easter Road is always tough, and now more than ever when they've got players like Nisbet scoring goals. I feel like I feel like when we've played Hibs over the past few years, right? They've always had a good team. You look back in 2017, they had McGinn. McGinn was a talisman. He was a guy you had to look out for. Moving on from that, they still had a talented team. But now, more than ever, they've got somebody who can at any time, with threat on goal, score. I don't feel like they've had that.
Doige as well.
Doige, because Doige last season took his well to get cooking. I mean, did we even play them between January and March last year? I can't think off the top of my head.
we played them in the December probably because we always play them in the
But I don't feel like we played Doige when he was quite
Flying.
yet. This is the first time I feel like we've played a Hibs side that actually has a player who can score.
See, that's the concerning thing as well, because we've struggled against Hibs at Easter Road in previous years against a team that doesn't have a prolific goal scorer as such. I mean, even under Rodgers, when we were playing our best football, we struggled big time against them, and it's concerning. But
it's pissing me off how much like there's a lack of promotion for this weekend. Like, could you imagine if like City were playing Liverpool, United were playing Chelsea down City? You would never hear the end of it. But this is like if Sky were going to take Scottish football seriously, they should have been like, bugger it, we're doing both games this weekend. Even if you put one on the Sunday, you promote the hell out of it because you could easily entice people from down south who aren't into Scottish football to watch Rangers, Aberdeen, Celtic, Hibs. You could easily do it if you presented it right. It's just piss poor, especially the positive wave Scotland are riding just now. It just would have been the natural thing to do. I'm watching that Israel game they were talking about. Oh, watch Leeds against Arsenal at the weekend. I'm like, there's fucking two big games in Scotland at the weekend. But anyway,
look, it's what we had to come to deal with. It's just the reality of how we're treated as a nation, and even with our nation becoming better, not just in a club stage but an international stage, it's always going to stay the same. It's never going to change. But Celtic at the weekend, well, we always do this. We predict what's going to happen. Is this when it turns around for Celtic?
I think it's got to be.
I
slated Neil Lennon for penalty post before this international break. I'm not going to lie about it. And I mean, obviously we got the result at Motherwell, but I'm just fearing that results paper over the cracks. You need to see real improvement, like in the squad.
But that Motherwell game was quite telling. Yes, Celtic won as I thought they would do, but I think it was a number of openings where if Motherwell had a little bit of quality in the final third that Hibs do have.
Give Nisbet a few chances.
Then you're struggling. And just quickly, want to touch on the Celtic thing about the players in international duty. Like every Celtic player in international duty seems to be doing really well just now. They're all absolutely flying. So is that for you a concerning thing?
Well, let's calm down. Shane Duffy's not quite there yet.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not big Duffy.
Did you see Paddy Powell's tweet last night?
No, I got told about it. So what was that? Like I heard they were rinsing Duffy.
He said something like he'd be better going down his hands and knees and then heeding the ball at that instead of actually passing it.
He's a donkey, man. But the Israeli boys, the Norwegian boys, the Scottish boys, like as you said, McGregor before the international break was probably. He's always so consistent, but there was a wee blip. I said this to you, but there was a wee blip. He was amazing, and do you think that's partly down to maybe the fact that Steve Clarke, in terms of discipline and how your team are set up, is just maybe ahead of?
No, it makes you wonder what's happening in the training ground.
No.
That's why I think it's a quite concerning thing, because I don't think anyone's ever doubted the quality of these players.
It's crazy how the last 2 weeks, and you'll know this better than David, of course, as a Celtic fan. But I mean, you can clearly say for this, it's not exactly I'm saying something bold, but. It's mental how the last 2 weeks in this international break, everybody's just kind of forgot about the lining out stuff, and we're all kind of. I don't know what we're exactly waiting for this weekend. Like it could be a complete meltdown, or it could just be it's normality resumed. Don't know what's going to come.
I don't know the general consensus amongst Celtic fans. I mean, obviously we've got our opinions, but I don't know what everybody thinks is.
Obviously, the consensus is that people don't expect him to get sacked. Therefore, there's not an awful lot of point of clamouring for it too much. Like I mean, you've said it a long time. You don't think he'll get sacked. And there will be people out there who think if they get beat this weekend he's got to go, but whether he does or not is a different kettle of fish. I think we'll come on to that because somebody's asked our thoughts on that. But Rangers Aberdeen, always a big game, but as you said early on, I just can't see anything past Rangers snotting them, to be honest, because they've done so in that fixture, especially at Ibrox. They've snotted Aberdeen God knows how many times recently, and it's just like it's alright boys, it's alright.
It pains me. It just pains me, mate. Do you know how long it's been since I've had to actually sit and deal with a Rangers side that are doing really well?
And like the biggest,
I must admit to that.
The most annoying thing, I suppose, from your point of view, is that the argument you've always kind of had is that Celtic's squad will be the difference, the depth. But you look at Rangers. I mean, their bench just now is so strong. Like the last game for the international break, their bench was almost better than the first team, so they've got so many options. And yeah, Aberdeen.
A lot of people forgetting as well. Rangers are coming into this game off the back of the last result, which was a 9-0 win. 9-0.
And that was with God knows how many changes.
It's just baffling.
Was it 08? I thought it was 8-0.
Was it 8?
It was 8.
Was it no? Was it 8?
It was one of the two.
Was it?
You're thinking Southampton Leicester was 9-0.
Mate, like, just
was the caption of one of your videos talking about it? No,
oh, great.
You didn't pay more attention to that channel than we do.
Sorry, was 8-0? I don't know. I'm sitting there remembering hungover me sitting around this table with a few beers. Oh, that was an actual thing. That was head of the dog. But I remember sitting around the table, like, just saying, I'm just saying, like, oh, it's going to end up 9-0, it's going to end up 9-0, and it never did. So I think maybe my head in the state that it was has convinced myself that it was actually 9-0.
Well, that makes a big difference whether it was 8 or 9. I mean, the full story of the game changes at that point, doesn't it?
But no, Rangers right now, I'll just...
Any trust in Aberdeen?
I want to.
You don't understand how much hope we've put into Aberdeen over the years to try and get a result, like in certain games, and then they've just been absolutely.
But then done you a bit of favour by being powder puff against Celtic for God knows how many years in the big games. So
I know you can't try and argue the pushovers either way, to be honest, because even though you look at Aberdeen's squad, there's some decent players in it, like Ferguson, bit of a penalty merchant, to be honest. But I mean,
McCrory's flying. Top end Cosgrove's back. Scott Wright's playing well. They've got so many players that can hurt
Rangers.
Rangers.
What's your opinions on Cosgrove this season? We've not actually spoken about that.
He's been injured, hasn't he?
I know, but like, do you buy into the whole image that was built of him at one point? Do you? I don't.
He was key to the way Aberdeen were playing when he was in the team, but as I've said, God knows how many times this season.
Because it's one thing we've not actually touched on
They've
at all.
they've sort of changed their style of play a little bit. They're a bit more entertaining this season, getting the ball down. So
I think he's overrated.
I think he's good for what they needed him to be, but I think if McInnes wants to keep playing sort of free-flowing football, not that it's free-flowing, but they're certainly getting the ball down a lot more in the attacking areas, then I don't think he's the man. But you know, Marley Watkins is now injured and he's been a big player for them, so Cosgrove kind of has to come back in. They're just going to have to deal with it. But you know, it'll be interesting to see how if Cosgrove can unsettle Goldson or if it's Hollander or Balogun. But you know, again, it's kind of far-fetched to perceive that. But easily though, it would not shock me if Aberdeen went and got something, because I think just because I think Aberdeen are a good side, and you know, the idea of Rangers winning every game is they're not going to win every game this season. They will slip up eventually. So you know, I mean, that's why I said could it be a defining weekend, because I think it's got. Here's my bold prediction: one of the two will slip up this weekend.
Who's Celtic or Rangers?
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh Christ.
Which I've not opened this far. Here's a question at you, Kieran. Rangers very famous for the last 2 years for coming back from breaks and slipping up. They've not done it yet in any of the international breaks. Could this be the one? I mean, are you going to be as pessimistic as me and say they're going to batter Aberdeen?
I mean, as I said before, you'd like to think they're going to come back, slip up, do us a favour, but I don't know. They just don't look like they're going to.
Nah.
And I don't think Aberdeen look like they're going to be the team to put an end to it. It's annoying when I say that, when Aberdeen don't look like they're going to be the team to put a stop to it, because who is?
I know.
Like, we're not going until January, and even then we don't have the utmost confidence now. So
that's the story about the league this season.
Whereas Rangers last year, you'd expect them to go to like Kelly or Livy and slip up.
I mean, they already had went to Livy, of course, and drop points, but that was one
best Livy have played all season that game. So.
Exactly, it's madness. You're looking at Aberdeen, who are easily, the way that everything's gone now, the best of the bunch. Apart from Celtic and Rangers, they're the best team in the league. And yet, I have no confidence in my mind and my soul that Rangers will slip up to them this week.
Just another thing, just in squad depth, is quite telling. Is McGregor and Ryan Jacob played a lot of football. Celtic can't, I don't think, drop McGregor, but I think Rangers can quite easily drop Ryan Jack. So you know, I mean, that's just the sort of you know, just showing the sort of state Rangers squad's in just now, that they've got the ability to drop those players. But it's bound to be interesting this weekend. I just wish you could watch both games on the telly, man.
It's really a sorrow.
SOS.
SOS, big flag. We did it fucking hard, right, okay, the rest of the league we'll try and fly through, because I think we've been doing for quite a decent bit, 20 minutes we've went on for in Scotland, Celtic and Rangers, so we'll move on to the rest of the league. We're going to go to the off the ball derby. Tam, friend of the show, St Johnstone, Motherwell. Kieran, I want to start with you here for a reason. This year St Johnstone have been St Johnstone. Have you got any words, any adjectives that come to mind?
Start with you for every game. Old pals act here.
No, but I just want. I'll come at you for the next one.
You see, I'm sitting this side. I'm getting phased out. Next week I won't fucking be here. That's the surprise on Mondays. I won't be here. Jesus Christ!
Surprise when you come in. Somebody else is sitting here.
Come in and watch the telly. Like,
shut the door about it. Have you got an adjective that comes to mind for St Johnstone, Kieran?
No, I mean, I don't think anything can come to mind, but I mean...
A bizarre question.
It's just,
I know.
they're just so bang averagely shite.
See, that's the thing,
It's a
but
bit harsh,
I'd like to sit and agree with you, but I mean, when we played them up at McDermott Park,
Well,
I didn't think they were terrible, to be honest with you. I thought they gave us a bit of a game.
They've started pulling some points in. Them and Motherwell are neck and neck going into this. It kind of just sums up the start of the season Motherwell had, because they should be miles beyond St Johnstone. They should be miles ahead. David, for this weekend, Motherwell win.
Yeah, Motherwell have got, we've talked God knows how many times about how their start of the season wasn't going to reflect their season as a whole. David Turnbull leaving was probably the blessing in disguise for them, is that they can get back to what they did
That's
last
another
season.
Conversation for another day, David
It's a
Turnbull.
whole video. Where is he?
He's away with caramel coding somewhere.
So yeah, Motherwell have started stringing together a few results, and I think I think the top four are nailed in. We've said it God knows how many times. Motherwell, the only team I think could mount a challenge, but again they're going to have to keep stringing results together. But they'll quietly go about the business. I think they'll win at the weekend. What are you laughing at?
I'm just looking at the next game and I'm thinking about a mistake I made on the SPFL show last year.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too as well.
Me, man. You've probably don't realise that. But okay, right. Final thoughts, Kieran. You got in about St Johnstone Motherwell this weekend. What to expect?
I mean, I think Motherwell...
Goals!
I think Motherwell will come out and get the result, to be honest. I mean, they have started to pick up form recently, and it's well needed after the start of the season they had. I mean, is it Tony Watt got his new contract, didn't he? So
yeah, that's
right.
Can maybe see him repaying the faith.
Too, so.
Well, somebody actually today, have you seen the comments in the last video?
I've seen bits.
Somebody kind of put a list of players that could get called up, and they included Tony.
He's not getting called up.
no,
he is. I'm actually glad to see him scoring because he's got an unfair hard time with it. Just because everyone's jealous that he's got a really big goal and they've never done anything with their life. But anyway, let's move on to the next game.
So a year ago in the SPFL
Dundee Hamilton.
I said that by accident. Then I go down well on, of course, a Rangers based channel. Dundee United Hamilton. Kieran, kick us off. Two teams who are David, kick us off. Dundee United Hamilton, sorry. You don't want it?
Okay, I'll do it, why not? Dundee Hamilton, dearie me, Brian Rice has got to be on like the thinnest of like worn, almost ripped threads now. Like, how is he still?
I thought you were going to go with ice and then you just turned it to threads.
Like hanging by a thread.
Aye, but he's not on it. Oh well.
What?
Nah, I don't know, mate. Just keep going.
Yeah, how's he still in that job, man?
I don't know. Surely.
And if ever there was a game to get Lauren Shanklin back scoring, he'll score 5 in the first half in this game if he's out.
Is that like an actual claim that he'll do that? Or?
But like, it wouldn't even surprise how bad Hamilton are. The results have been dreadful. Like, this is the year they are going down. There's no doubt in my mind they're going down this year.
Do you think is that your 12th then? Is that?
Yeah, I don't.
You've had Hamilton for the start for 12, haven't you? Because me and Div went for Ross County.
Yes.
And you went for Hamilton.
I just looked at the squad and I thought Templeton might be the man to keep them up. He's out for God knows how long, so they're just dreadful. And like, if they can't defend, the least you expect from Hamilton is to be hard to beat and try and put some sort of fight in. And they seem to do that for the first 15 minutes of games. Then they just capitulate. They did it against Hibs, did it against Aberdeen, and against Rangers. So Lauren Shank will be back in amongst the goals, and Dundee United will win 3-0.
Same thing with Ralph Housenhittle last year. Mind when he got beat 9-0. You're thinking surely that's it.
Should be the next Man United manager. There's a shout.
Do you think so?
That'd be a good shout. I think.
I want Rodgers.
I think Housenhittle will be a good manager.
But Hamilton. Dundee United win for you and Ockham.
I mean, I think it's got to be as David said. I mean, Brian Rice surely is on his last legs now because, I mean, you can't even for a team like Hamilton, you can't defend performances like that. But I mean,
we all joked about Hamilton don't have fans, but then they've got their fans are now turning up outside the ground during a global pandemic to complain. But like I said it last week. Like everyone says about if Lennon leaves Celtic, who do we get in? Like, I don't buy that argument with Celtic, but I suppose with Hamilton it is a little bit like, I mean, who do you get into? Say, John Hughes maybe?
John Hughes.
Big Yogi maybe the man?
Would he do it, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, if there's anyone that would be able to keep him up, I think it might be him. Just he seems to be quite good at that. But like, there is going to be, and even financially for them, if they're going to sack a manager, it's going to cost them money. They don't have
that's the team that got scammed at £1 million a couple of years ago, mind.
That's right.
Jesus, Johnny. How's that managed? Right. Livingston, St Mirren.
You didn't make a prediction though.
Oh, my prediction, Dundee United win. I think that's pretty obvious, surely.
Yeah. How are Dundee United still in 5th? That seems to be another mystery of the season because they've been so average for so long, but they're still in 5th. Like,
I know, I was looking at that table and I was a bit amazed. I didn't really know where they were sitting, but in 5th.
It just feels like they started okay and then just gone, but they're not thereabouts.
When you look at the last 5 results, 1 win,
1 defeat and 3 draws.
Yep.
Yeah, it just sums them up, doesn't it?
Nah, not too bad. I mean, it's just bang average for them for a team. But that's the thing, for a team coming up, they should be happy with how it's going. It's just the fact it's Dundee United. Right, Livingston St Mirren is the next game I'm going to go to. David, because I've done Kieran a few times in a row. On you go.
Oh, that's your own business.
It's the second time first it was Twitter saying that my arse had never recovered, now it's that.
So this is going to be a St Mirren win because I think St Mirren are going to start to get a wee turnaround. I just think Jim Goodwin's too good a manager and I think they've got decent players. So this will be the start of the St Mirren recovery. There you go.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Viva Jim Goodwin.
Get
John Obika back up front. They did well last season with him up front. Why are they not playing him? I know he's not technically easy on the eye, but I mean,
he's quite a donkey.
He's effective though. He relegated Hearts, remember?
Fair enough.
He scored a few goals last season, and they seem to struggle because they got Lee Irwin in.
Here's a question: you see that? How you enjoying the Hearts documentary?
I mean, I've only watched the first episode, but I mean,
and budge
some powder puff in it.
Some bit.
It's just, I don't.
You would, but wouldn't you?
Oh Christ!
You would.
Regrets.
Couple of vodkas. Easy. Livingston.
yourself on here, do you, man?
Pouring vodkas in your eyes, like.
Livingston St Mirren for you, Kieran. Is it? I don't know. I kind of like the idea of a St Mirren recovery, but
3 games in hand too.
I feel like Livingston will take this weekend. Kieran, your thoughts?
I mean, nothing would ruin my weekend more than watching that fixture. But
let's be bluntly honest.
No, we've got a habit of doing this though. We keep calling stinkers and end up being good games. This happens quite a lot.
I know, I've got over 2.5 my Coombs in it.
Don't talk to me about Coombs. I tell you about my Coombs last night. Oh, I didn't even tell you. I put it in the chat. Right? I've just had a sign for God never to gamble again. Never. That's me. I'm retiring.
When the fun stops. Stop.
So I put in a over 2.5 and the result came right. So I had over 2.5 goals Holland to win, over 2.5 Scotland to win, over 2.5 what was it, Belgium to win, and then I had over 2.5 Russia to beat Serbia.
Well, that went well. Oh, we need to talk about that quickly. How pish are Russia, by the way? Like, I saw loads of stuff about Luka Jovic being like, oh, what a player. It's like, what's he doing next June, by the way? Just out of interest. How good are Scotland, man? I mean, Russia's supposed to be one of the best teams in the world.
So I bet on Russia.
Oh, easily, by the way.
You think so?
Not a problem. They've got that big fella up front who's a nuisance, but apart from that...
They've got Yuri Zhirkov, man. He's been about for years.
Mate, I remember he signed for Chelsea for like 30 million in like 2008. He's still going. Plays at left back now.
I know.
He's a flying winger back
I've got a few Brazilians in our team.
What, in the Russian team?
Aye, a few of them. There's generally quite a few Brazilians.
Why? Yeah, I've always... You know how like Shakhtar Donetsk always have loads of Brazilian players?
There must be some... is it...
I don't know, Regan's told me about it before, but I can't
behind that.
It must be shout out to Regan. I think... I know the whole thing is obviously Russia had the amount of Brazilians that go there, they end up getting citizenship and bang, they can play. I don't know why the clubs are. Is it something they...
Well, I mean, Shakhtar from Ukraine, aren't they? But just that nick of the
it helps the country, doesn't it? I mean, probably they're not producing enough.
If a few Brazilians want to come over here and
Ronaldinho to St Mirren, Jesus. But back to the point. Livingston St Mirren, Kieran, final thoughts?
I think it's just got to be a draw.
We spent far too much time in that fixture, didn't we?
We did that. We did get
far too much media coverage.
Finally, Kelly versus Aurora.
Yeah, we probably gave them more media coverage than they'll have all season.
It's a good point. I mean, Sky probably don't know who Livingston are.
Tony Macaroni has sort of blown by. Kelly Ross County. I'll kick us off because I've not kicked us off yet. It was only last week that I realised that it wasn't until I was wondering, right? So see when we were sitting here after the Scotland game and you hot out with the whole, I still believe I'm the best coach in the Premier League. It was only I was talking like John Carver for. I didn't know John Carver took his job until like a few days ago.
John Carver's been a turning point for Scotland. Since he came in, we've been flying.
Well,
ruptured his calf celebrating the penalty save.
Did he?
Yeah, he's on crutches. He ruptured his calf celebrating the penalty save. What a fella!
We've
got Stephen Reid, Stevie Clark, and John Carver. You ever hear the story about the Englishman, the Scotsman, and the Irishman? Took Scotland to the Euros.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching.
Actually, that was quite funny.
I really like Alex Stam. I really like what he's been doing with Kelly this season. I think, Jesus, John, you hear that voice crack? Dear me. I think that they'll win the game with ease. I think Kilmarnock will kick on for the international break. with a wee bit of thunder. I think the last couple of games, of course, they've kind of tailed off. Things haven't gone their way. They need that fight back now. They need to kind of get back into action. 3 losses on the bounce is not good enough for a team and a squad of that capability. I just see an Alex Dyer win. Kieran, for you, Kelly Ross County.
Nah, I can't see past the Kilmarnock win. I don't know. I just feel like they're going to own their own park in that as well. I just feel they'll be able to play their game and get the result. But Ross County, I just don't feel they've got much about them, to be honest.
I mean, we've been very mixed on Ross County this year. Of course, started the season well.
Yeah, I still think they stay up. But I mean, Ollie Shaw's starting to score now, so that's something. They're finally seeing a return on that investment. Brophy was back in amongst the goals a bit for Kelly, so I mean, I don't know. Kelly at home, I still maintain that Kelly, if they get Brophy, Kabamba, Burke and Kelly in the front four, that's pretty good. And you've got Tushbola, Power and Dicker, 2 from that, 3 in the middle. They're a pretty good side. So.
You playing FM there, aye?
What's that?
Just reading out the squad.
I've read out 5 players. So is that just because that's more than you know that's played for Kelly?
I can name the whole Kelly starting 11. Thank you very much.
Go on, you go then.
Brophy, Kabamba.
Brophy and goals, like.
No, I'm starting the front to back.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh jeez, oh god, what's happening to me? Yes, now.
Brophy's not been playing that much.
But anyway, Brophy, Kabamba. I'll name 11 then. I'll name 11.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the starting 11.
Mackenzie, Power, Dicker, Burke, Finlay and big guy.
No, big guy.
Big guy. Fullbacks.
Good player, big guy.
Forgot the fullback. Keep at it.
Mr. and Mrs. Guy, a son.
It's just a back four, mate.
Yeah.
That's it.
So moving on to the championship, where all the magic happens.
This is it, game of the weekend.
The third biggest game in the weekend. Well, I mean, I think it's the biggest game, but we'll leave it as the third.
Biggest game of the weekend. That's what they say. You've been calling it that all weekend.
Well, it is. I don't know. Would you disagree? Would you disagree?
It's up there. Dunfermline Hearts. This is nice to be in the presence of a championship fan. Very rare sightings in here. It is. I'm not meaning that a cheeky way around here. It is rare sightings, you know.
Nobody in Glasgow supports. That's. Well, I suppose this aren't even in the championship. So yeah, Dunfermline Hearts. What on the telly on the BBC. Get that watched tomorrow night. Oh, you're working, aren't you?
No.
I thought you were working.
I never work a Friday.
Ah, you'll be watching it.
Yeah, if you're not, probably.
Yeah.
Get a wee East End view.
I'll sneak you in.
You'll be there, aye. So you looking forward to being in the press?
Yes and no.
Because normal circumstances would mean.
See, last week was weird because we had Clyde last week and we were 2-0 down at Clyde, and we needed to win to top the group, and I was like, oh Jesus.
We've not even really spoken about the Betfred Cup yet.
Yeah, I know.
We'll talk about that.
Nobody watches. Everyone watches for Celtic and Rangers, couldn't you? So yeah, and then we get 2-1. I'm like, oh great, okay. And then it goes 2-2 with like 2 minutes to go. I'm like, yes, punch, like, oh yeah, come on. And the third goes in. I was literally doing cartwheels in the main stand. Everyone's like, who is this clown? He's not with the press. He's just sneaked his way in.
Did you actually cheer or you?
I did for the third one. But to be fair, I mean, like the press side, you've got like guys from like the papers from Edinburgh and stuff, and you've got guys who do the papers, Dunfermline, guys that work for Dunfermline. A lot of them Dunfermline fans anyway, but. Yeah, it's this Friday will be weird because it's such a massive game. We've not lost yet this season. This doesn't happen to me very often. So I'm like, I forgot what losing feels like. So I'll probably.
Yeah, I know, because we were watching. Us two were watching the Queen of the South game in here, mind.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't the Queen of the South. Sorry, it was the Ayr game, and it was 0-0. Ayr had a couple of chances, and you were getting really kind of worked up and tense. And I was like, I'm sitting there watching.
It's a good result,
I'm sitting there watching for the point of view, like, you should be fucking happy with a 0-0 at Ayr. That's decent. And then, but you're kind of now falling into that trap of becoming one of us.
It's also it's not even that. It's if you want to catch Hearts this season, you've got to be near enough flawless. You can't not like if we're gonna have any chance. The chances are small of us putting Hearts in the league, but if we're gonna do it, we have to beat them tomorrow night. So it's tense. I mean, I'm not gonna predict Hearts to win, but I think you'd be. You know, I think you'd be pretty strange to bet against them because they are just so strong. Kieran,
we brought up the Hearts documentary and watched it. Don't worry, it's not another question than that. But you've not been on the show, of course, all season. We are only this is only the 5th match day in the championship. Me and David, I've spoken a lot on Hearts' chances of trouncing the league. Now, of course, they're expected to win it. What do you think's in store for Hearts' season? Is it a direct bounce back? Will it be as easy as the majority of the country I think it will be?
See, I feel like there's just this general idea that they're going to absolutely run away with it, but I don't know. I mean, on paper you'd just imagine them with the squad they've got. You look at it, they've not really lost that much quality. They've still kept a hold of some big players, and I feel like they've got enough quality to actually go and trounce the league. But whether or not they'll do it, I don't think so.
If they've not trounced anyone yet, though, that's what's telling to me.
I mean, but 6-2 against Dundee, but but
that was more about Dundee being gash. I thought they went up to Arbroath and they won 1-0, but they struggled. You know, Inverness, they didn't exactly dispatch Inverness comfortably last week. They did win, but this thing, that Hearts team last season, it's much the same team, but if Hearts played like they did last season in the Championship, they wouldn't have won it. So like, I mean, they were so bad last year. I still think they'll win it, but I think you're right. There's no way they're going to trounce the league. But again, tomorrow, if they were to win tomorrow night, it would be a big statement because
Big indication as to where the season will end.
I think it's almost widely accepted that Dunfermline will be Dundee challenger, which is weird for me because I think I didn't expect that coming in, but everyone has seen enough of Dundee to know that they're not going to challenge Hearts.
Aye.
And because Dunfermline are going so well, people think that we might have half a chance. But I mean, the another one thing is these are the games that make you miss a crowd because we need enough full tomorrow night for this game. Hearts would bring God knows how many through just over the bridge, so it's annoying. But listen, it'll be good to watch the telly, I'm sure, for all you lot.
See, one thing I'm curious about, I've never got the perspective of a Championship fan. See the playoffs. Do you fancy your chances if you were to get to the playoff against the Premiership team? Do you look at it as thinking, we've been playing well all season to get to this point, they've been playing bad, that's why they're in that position?
Good question. My joke, man. That is it.
It depends. If you finish fourth, you've got to play 1, 2, 3. We played 6 games to get up. If you finish second, you've got to play 4 to get up. But also, I mean, if you are the team that finishes, say, fourth, you've got to play 6 games. But the Premiership team won't have played for like a good few weeks, so I don't know. It depends who the team is. I mean, it's not. It is set up to favour the Premiership.
I think this season, though, I think Dunfermline.
If you were to give me St Mirren over 2 legs,
any of the teams who are potentially the playoff side, whether it be Hamilton, St Mirren, Ross County, or Livy, I think Dunfermline are a better team and could win the game.
See, I think
I think to say we're a better team than Livy's a stretch.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do, because I think the gap is a little bit bigger than you probably think it is, because Livy, I mean, a lot of the Livy squad is the same as it was. Yes, they've lost a couple of key players, but I mean, guys like Robinson, guys like Bartley, guys at the back.
Have got a very good chance.
But it's over 2 legs, so that's another one.
On the nights.
I just think it's such a scrappy affair, playoffs. I mean, I think playoffs in every league, whether it be English Championship, it's a sort of affair where you don't want to lose more than you want to win. Like, you're set up to defend, because losing the game is going to be so much worse than. So I feel like I don't think it matters who you're playing in the Premiership. To be honest, I feel the quality just goes out the window because it just becomes a horrible.
But I mean, the Championship used to be the top team went up, the bottom team went down, and then it was second to ninth of just nothing.
When was the last time a team actually won the playoffs for the Championship?
Livy beat Thistle for Hill, didn't they? So that was
that's right.
Before that, I'm trying to think.
Before that, was it not a big gap?
Hamilton put Hibs down. I think in the first year of the playoffs, Hamilton put Hibs down.
So the one that always pops to mind, and just all the givers Motherwell Rangers, that always comes to mind.
Yeah, of course. And then there was St Mirren, Dundee United a couple of years ago. St Mirren stayed up, so I don't know. But it is really good because you look at the Championship, there's 10 teams in there, and teams like Queen of the South, Morton, Ayr, Dunfermline, Dundee, and Inverness, they've all got realistic chances of getting sucked into either end. Especially with a 27 game season, you've got to be at it. So yeah. Be an interesting game.
I always keep forgetting it's only 27 games this season.
I know. That's why it makes tomorrow night even bigger, because we can go and win that then.
So they only play them twice this season?
3 times.
3 times
each. Twice at East End, once at Tynecastle. So I want to get your predictions on this, because I'm just interested.
Okay, on you go. Because I feel like I might need to hide for the rest of the night after.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, sensible pick would be Hearts, obviously, but
I don't know. I don't want to sit on the fence and say a draw. I'd like to pick a team, but
I think a draw's not a bad shout.
My knowledge on like the way teams are playing, obviously you can look at the form and that, but actually sitting down watching the games, like even you've been watching the games with David because he's season ticket holder and that, and you've actually seen how they've been playing. I've seen Hearts in the opening game and against Dundee, and I do also agree that
Dundee were.
I know they were woeful, but I don't know. I think maybe 2-1 Hearts.
2-1 Hearts. I'm around the fence. I'm 2-all. I see a point. Yeah.
I think a draw's a decent shout. The biggest positive I've taken from the season is I don't think we've played as good as we can do, and we're still grinding out results. So we'll see. You
still going to shove a fiver on you and Murray for school?
No, £2 this week. £2 on you Murray, £2 on Dom Thomas, and £1 on
every week. Same
Paul
bet,
Watson.
every single week.
No,
you change it for Keir McInroy this week.
Yeah, McInroy not going to play, but you and Murray first to score every week. Got to be. You get it 18-1. You scored like 5 this season already. It'd be stupid not to.
Wish we had him instead of Duffy.
But looking at the Championship, there's some other good games.
We'll fly through because I'm 40 minutes into the show, you know that?
Why'd you always have to fly through the Championship, man? We're supposed to big up
we fly through all the rest of the leagues now. We've still got the Betfred Cup.
No, the Betfred Cup draw should have been done already if you looked at the schedule, but he just did his own thing as per usual. I'll transition on to Ayr Dundee because that's a big game.
Alright, Ayr Dundee. Ayr win. Easy. For me.
Ayr win with a Charlie Adam goal.
Seems to be the every week. Have you watched any of the have you watched any like I kept up with the rest of the Championship so far this season, Keir? You just kind of on that same. When I started this show, I done my best at coming on and just pretending, sat in the booths in the college, you're sitting ranting away about I have one. I'm like, oh, aye, Pierre Grant, Pierre Grant.
I'm Trouton simply.
I'm Trouton, aye. But have you kept up with anything? Have you been kind of?
See, that's where me and you differ, Ryan. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know
You boys sound knowledgeable.
No, you don't. It's an educational process. It's fine. You educate the viewers as well.
But Air Dundee, for me, Erwin. Dundee, as we've already touched on, are looking nothing spectacular, down in 6th. Once again, neck and neck in the
James
table.
McPake first and
both
second.
teams, I think both teams haven't been. Yep, I think you're spot on with that. But both teams have not been nothing spectacular. They've had the same results.
I think there'll be goals in this game because Ayr are really good going forward, but are a bit average at the back. And Dundee,
can they score?
No, but it wasn't for the want to try. And then Dundee have obviously got attacking threats, but defensively are a bit woeful. They got they obviously Easter Road in the Betfred Cup game they got beat 4-1, but at 2-1 down they really had a chance to go and get something in that game. So going forward they look okay, but they're shipping goals for fun, and that is why they'll not challenge. But I'm gonna go for Ayr as well. 2-1.
Cool.
I know, go
ahead. I said there'd be goals this game, and I go 2-1.
After listening to the evidence, I've came to the conclusion.
Pick a team each, and you can be like the judge. Like,
I got the old fun video we done minds. We did.
That's right.
You can Kieran's a judge this time.
Don't remind me of that. From Congo Avenue. Jesus Christ.
Duffy Orlando.
What was it he said again? The best defender in Scotland, hands down for Shane Duffy.
Hands down.
Hands down. You put your hands down for that.
And since then, Shane Duffy's had his pants pulled down.
Wait, I couldn't help it, man. I couldn't help it.
Well, you to get caught up in the emotion.
No, when ever.
No, never, not at all.
Yeah, I've been
Let's race through this thing. Queen of South Alloa and Arbroath and Greenock Morton are the two not so appetising games this weekend, but Queen of South, I predict to get relegated this season. At home to Alloa, they have to win that. But it's got draw right all over it, isn't it? As has Arbroath Morton. They both get draw right all over them.
2-0 Arbroath win.
2-0
Arbroath win. I think the pressure is going to. I don't know. The pressure is going to catch up with Arbroath, and they need to kind of get dealing with it now. And I think they're going to win. I know they're not expected to do much this season. It's Arbroath, for God's sake. They're not exactly a top team. We all know.
But you could pull off a bonnet like Dick Campbell does. I think you could wear a bonnet. I think that would suit you.
No.
Not you.
We had to wear bonnets for what drama was it in school? We had to wear bonnets for.
Wasn't it Buck and Hare maybe?
Buck and Hare, was it that? I know I did wear one, but I wasn't in your class for Buck and Hare.
I feel like I've got one sitting in my room.
Aye. David's like that.
We did real subjects at school, so I wouldn't know.
Aye.
Failed most of them.
Me and Kieran were the lost stars of a generation.
Uh-huh.
Dick Campbell, I think, is the kind of manager that will want to rally the team together and get something. So I'm going for an Arbroath win.
Okay.
Now, see it with Dick.
Yeah, 1-0 Crystal Ignis, please.
Ah, really? Yeah. Crystal in a
hero of a man. And then Inverness Wraith are flying, by the way, and it's starting to annoy me a little bit because they're supposed to be
Didn't even get Kieran's predictions for the last game, mate.
I think Kieran's
you're right, man.
We should bring some comedy into the show. Yes, Wraith and that Inverness, a great game. Wraith win.
2-1 Inverness because Wraith have been flying, but the newly promoted teams they always seem to have a little bit of a blip after a good start, and they have been flying. They scored loads of goals, to be fair, but I just think Inverness have starting to find a little bit of a rhythm. John Robertson's got them.
Here's my case for why Kieran should agree with
me. Listen, let's not waste our time.
Okay, that's it. The championship done. League One. I'm just going to fly through the games and use both, and it doesn't matter if you don't know it, but you're like it.
League One.
League One, League Two. I'm just going.
What's a League One?
Oh, wait till I tell you. League Two's next. But I'm just going to fly through the games, and whether or not you know anything about what's happening,
this upsets me.
Just pick a team, right? You're good pals with Blair for BSR. Is he feeling confident for partaking in these 5?
What's a partic?
I don't know what he's actually thinking, to be honest, but I feel like he's been quite critical.
Thistle fans haven't been happy for
the fans are just accepting
since 2012, 2013.
They're quite critical at McAlden, I believe, but I don't know. What was their last result again? Who was it they were playing?
They drew
it was in the cup.
It was in the cup. They were playing. The
Polish
came in.
They done on penalties. They won on penalties.
In the league, but was it against
2 each against somebody at home? Falkirk at home.
Falkirk. It was Falkirk.
Because that was billed as quite a big game, because that's what everyone was expecting to go.
And at home too, if it was really a game they had to win. But it's mad how Ian McCall's gone from the Messiah and the main man for Thistle will save them to keep them up, and then bring them back up, and now they all rid of them. It's just football's a funny game, isn't it?
It is a funny game. Right, okay, Partick East Fife. Feel free, one
1-1.
Alright, you got for a draw. Can I just say
I like seeing Thistle struggle.
Over 2.5 goals.
I'm going to go Partick. That's who I'm going with. You got to go for Partick or draw. I don't think anybody's going to go for East Fife, are they?
Partick.
Why not? Would it surprise you?
No, because I've actually been kind of nice towards East Fife in the last couple of shows. I think they've looked alright.
What do you mean looked alright? You watched them like?
I don't know. Aye.
Yeah.
Big East Fife man, mate. What's the chant go
Where
like
do they
again?
play?
East Fife. I'm going to go for Partick. 4 for Airdrie.
Airdrie 2-1 because you think Airdrie are going down and I don't.
Do you think Airdrie's going?
It was just a wild stab because it doesn't win the
No. This is exactly what happened. I told the story right. So
what was the reason?
we had Devon for the season preview, right? And we were going through the leagues, who we think will win them, who I think will get relegated. And me and David matched up on the. Okay, so we both said Celtic would win the league. We didn't agree.
Did I say Celtic would win the league?
Aye, we both agreed with the championship, so we had the same winners and same relegation. We both agreed on who would win league. Did you say Partick would win?
I said Falkirk would win league.
We did, but I just wanted to differ, and so I had in my head I was going to say Peterhead. And then he went before me and he said Peterhead, and I was like, oh dear. And the first game of the weekend was Peterhead.
Why should be that easily influenced?
The first game was Peterhead versus Airdrie, so I went. That was my reasoning. So now I'm rooting to see them get pumped every week. I guess with your reaction to me saying they'll go down, you think they might win this weekend against Fulham?
No, I think so.
Okay. I'm going to go for Forfar because I need to. Peterhead Dumbarton.
0-0.
No.
It just screams a draw, didn't it?
No, another draw.
Just
I'm going to go
screams
for
cold. That's what it screams. Get a fish supper afterwards.
I'm going to go for Peterhead. Clyde Montrose. Clyde man here.
Listen, this is going to be Montrose's win every day because I saw Clyde last week and they are dreadful at the back, like woeful. But they've got David Gumilli up front. He scores goals, so
you're going to dispute him.
it's going to be Montrose, and I love Montrose. Nice badge.
2-0
to Montrose.
Fuck it, Clyde. Let's just spice things up a bit.
I was actually going to go with Clyde. I'm going for Clyde. Falkirk and Cove Rangers. What a game, man! It's going to be exciting to see.
Right, here we go.
Right, take your time.
2-1 Falkirk.
Is that
Interesting,
what
actually.
it's-
I wasn't brought back Cove, but actually I don't think they will win. I think Falkirk will go up this year. I know you think Cove are going to win the league.
No, I don't think.
Well, you're starting to head in that direction.
I'm starting to head that direction,
But I think
which is why I'm
Falkirk
going to
will
go for a 3-1 Cove win.
Wow, that'd be a statement.
3-1 Cove win, Kieran.
And I can see Cove Rangers. I mean, they're the ones that've got the money getting pumped into them, aren't they?
Yeah,
I'm not going to go with 3-1. I'll go 2-1.
it's the way they've started the season. They are really trying to show something, and this is now the test. This is now the biggest game they've had so far to do to go and show that they can go and win this league. I have the faith in them. League 2, very quick. We'll fly through. You don't have to give me scores, man, because I've got a quiz for these, man. I want to give you the quiz.
I'll give you a score. What if I want to give you a bit of a comment on one of the games? I'm not allowed to. We don't like to talk about lower leagues. Do they not matter?
You were the one. Did you see what you said a minute ago? Need to guess where League 1. Aye, so don't give that. Steny and Annan.
What do you want me to say then?
Right there, Kieran.
I'm not allowed to give you a score. What we're saying? It's just home win. Is that what you want?
Both teams have a really nice time.
Like that old guy does a classified results.
I was going to talk about the guy in the Soccer Saturday comes out as like Scottish League 2.
That's what I mean, classified results.
Was that what it's called?
Aye, when they do like Scottish League 1, Stenhouse Muir 1, Annan Athletic 0.
Aye.
That'll be my prediction.
Why is it called classified results?
I don't know why it's called that, but it's definitely called
It's not exactly classified, is it?
I don't know, but that's what it's
Can I have the
called.
quiz next week?
It's definitely called. It comes up in classified results.
Fair enough. Right, Steny, Annan, you're going Steny?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go for Steny as well because I've played there. Stirling and Elgin.
Elgin are going to win because Elgin are flying, so they're going to be. Still, Albion are going okay too, but Elgin are going to win 2-0.
Alright, Elgin, same as me.
Elgin.
Right, this is Queen's Park breaking, so of course,
Good old Brecon.
as a Glaswegian, you will know that Queen's Park are kind of on the rise, you know? We're having a wee bit of a
Oh, here, by the way,
of
Simon
resurgence.
Murray came back midweek, first game after injury, first game for Queen's Park, off the bench, scored a hat-trick.
Did
He should be playing in the
Scotland.
Premiership or the Championship. Like, no,
Yeah,
Simon
playing
Murray
for
legit
Scotland.
should be play, if Hamilton run a striker, Simon Murray would score him goals. He's been top end Championship, bottom end Premiership. He will start to bang them in down there, and that's why I said Queen's Park will go up because I think he'll be.
Fair enough. And breaking on the other side, I'm sure you'll be aware of just.
Oh no.
Oh,
Mark Wilson
I
and
remember
Simpson,
Beacon's
it's that.
championship season.
Oh, dear.
Mate, since then they've just The hedge is falling over. Like, that's how bad it's got.
And Queen's Park win, I'm sure we're all going to agree with that. Cowden Beef, Albion Rovers.
2-0 to the Blue Brazil Cowden Beef.
I was going to say Cowden Beef as well.
Nice.
Cowden Beef as well. And
Don't
finally,
need to agree with that.
Edinburgh City versus Stranraer. There's going to be a draw somewhere, so here's your draw this weekend.
No way, don't be silly. Edinburgh City, Gabby McGold's going to score the goals for them, and it'll be
Mate,
4-0 to Edinburgh City.
Last season Edinburgh were quite good at being the team for me when we done the shows for January onwards. I would say Edinburgh will go and batter whoever, and then they drop points and draw. So
that's because they did a Rangers and just capitulated to Christmas spot.
So I'm going to go for a draw.
I'll go Edinburgh City.
Edinburgh as well. And that covers the league pyramid. We're done. Hey, Kieran's just laughing.
What a shift that was.
It's tiring. People don't understand this. See, like, I
oh.
know you just sit here and talk, but you're absolutely in bits after it.
Yeah. And I'm sure Kieran will be.
Because I don't talk like this normally. No, I'm like, all right, mate, what is that? No, like I just have no enthusiasm.
This isn't my
like,
normal voice.
there's nothing to be enthusiastic about.
No, there is not.
2023, folks.
Life is pain.
Bleak.
Should play Dire Straits again.
Yes, right, very quickly, Betfred Cup draw. David, you wanted to say this.
All I say is that the worst cup draw in history? It is shit. Like, there's not one good game in that draw. Like, and the worst thing about it was I was sitting there watching it. I watched the end of the Dundee Hibs game, and like Hibs and Dundee had just finished. Hibs topped the group. Dundee went through his best runners up. And then out of the draw comes Hibs at home to Dundee. It's like, we've just watched that.
That should not be allowed to
happen. It shouldn't be allowed to happen.
I feel like that happens in Scottish football quite a bit.
Just dreadful.
Like, I've seen that happen a few times.
Like Falkirk Rangers maybe is a little bit interesting, but you can't see past Rangers trends.
So we'll go very quickly run through Alloa taking on Hearts, Arbroath and Fairmont. Hibs, Dundee, Livingston, Ayr, Motherwell, St Johnstone, St Mirren, Aberdeen, Celtic, Ross County, and Falkirk against Rangers. We'll very quickly.
Falkirk Rangers would be a good tie if Rangers were playing shit.
We'll touch on the three biggest ties. So we'll start with Arbroath and Dunfermline.
I think that's one of the biggest ties. It's such a dreadful draw for us because it's such a tricky game. This season's a tough one because normally you'd want like going to Parkhead or going to Ibrox to get half the gate money. It's massive, but there's no gate money, so it's just hopeless. Arbroath at home would have been great. Away is a different kettle of fish, but I'd quite like us to go quite far in this cup this season. I want to get a team like I wanted like a St Johnstone or a Motherwell, something to like test ourselves against. But you know, we'll see.
Celtic, Ross County.
So
how you feeling?
League, innit?
I mean, if it was
typical,
if things were normal,
15,000.
I know that's exactly. I was going to say it would just be us in the tap tail looking at the green people dressed as green seats,
just sitting there freezing. Yeah, absolute.
And
Celtic they'd win like 2-0 and it would be dreadful.
Remember, did we beat Ross County 1-0? The games Fiatchenko scored the goals.
Like
the daisy cutter. Aye, what a game! Oh, it would be a disgusting game to sit through. It would be. I'd still go if I wasn't working, but aye.
These are the essential. If there are games that you're glad that we're not in stadiums, but it's that one, so you can actually sit in the house nice and warm and watch it.
And finally, Falkirk against Rangers, as you said, would be more interesting.
It would be interesting if Rangers were rubbish, but
Rangers
could literally make 11 changes and stuff them. So,
Kieran, does this share the year that Rangers finally win a trophy?
I predicted this all season long.
I would be.
I mean, would you not be kind of amazed if Celtic won the treble again, just because how good Rangers have become? It would be the biggest achievement by a country mile if Celtic did that again.
To stop Rangers win the trophy, we need to be the team that faces them in the final or actually gets them before they get to the final, because I don't have faith in many teams in Scotland to try and put a stop to it.
It's a tough one. I mean, I think it would be a bit of a capitulation if Rangers didn't walk away with some silverware this season, but you know, interesting.
Well, do you know what? Doesn't matter. We're going to complete the treble for last year. We're going to have a good old time in the league. We'll pull it back, and then we'll end of the year with another 2 trophies, David. I'm joking. Right, somebody's got to clip that, and there's going to be a Rangers Twitter.
My face is in this as
well. This is it now when the clubs are open back up. You're having a wee.
You can be TikTok famous as well.
Exactly.
You know, I get sent like TikToks of you all the time. Oh, it's you. I'm like, yeah, I'm just sitting there on my head just like this.
2 people in my work have said to me about the Johnny Hayes TikTok as well.
For the compilation of Kieran singing Johnny Hayes. We'll have to get that happening coming into the season. On the table. Right, okay, Twitter questions. David, you usually go and host this, but I've got it up if you just want me to do it.
Yeah, because I'll get the Instagram up.
Right, okay, so got to have questions. Kieran, I'll fire a couple of you if we need to. So first of all,
we need to. He's like a substitute. I'll bring him up eventually.
I'm right to go.
TSF is class saying, not a question, but bring back the quiz at the end. We'll do it in a minute. I've got these 5 questions each. Like a plank of wood with a moustache carved into it, do a better job than the Scotland squad than Ollie McBurney. Also, what's just been denied 3 penalties. We'll take away the 3 penalties part. Scotland squad.
No, I mean, we're not answering that. I'm fed up with Ollie McBurney slander.
We've not had Kieran's opinion. Just quickly sum it up in a word, or a few words.
Pish.
Shocking.
Nah, that's better than Pish, I suppose.
McBurney or Nisbet?
Nisbet, obviously.
Nisbet.
A flank of wood with a moustache draw.
Right, this one goes to Kieran. Win or bust for Neil Lennon this weekend?
I don't know.
It's just, he's not going to get sacked.
Nah.
He's not going to.
As much as people might shout for it, and as much as I've probably shouted for it as well, I mean, it's just not going to happen. Like, he's going to get time to try and turn it around, but you just don't know how much time.
This is one I'm going to just direct towards Kieran, these next 2 questions, because we've no in that way. We've covered it so much this season. People know our opinions. People know our opinions. It's just so people can get to know Kieran a wee bit better. Best player in the league so far.
We could ask him like what his favourite dinner is or something. A couple of icebreakers, get people knowing him.
What's your favourite film?
I'm not disclosing that information.
Best player in the league so far.
It's so hard, man. Normally I'd like to say a Celtic player, but
you don't know my opinion on that.
I do.
You might have done maybe a month ago, but you know, I don't. I actually saw that question. I thought, I don't know. I could have might have changed my opinion on it.
Well, think about it, Kieran.
Because I'd like to say a Celtic player, but it's just trying to. I know you can't justify it.
No,
it's not justifiable.
I mean, the closest I think that you've got is I don't even know. McGregor, but he's not been the best in the league.
Yeah.
He's been one of the best at Celtic. Frimpong's been decent. Ayer's been decent. I don't know, man.
I think it's an easy answer.
I think it's Ryan Kent.
No, I think it's easier than that. I think it's Tavernier.
Tavernier was
that's
what I was
impressive.
thinking.
Actually, I'm glad Tavernier just came to my head because I forgot about him for a second there. But Davis would be another shirt for me. I think he's been great. But you know, it's the Celtic players have all got the ability to step up with the next.
The next question, I definitely know your answer to. It's either Nisbet or Ferguson. It's one out of 2. Best player outside the Old Firm.
See, like when I got asked that question, I was sitting thinking about it, but I'm going to go Nisbet just for the fact I called.
Well, again, you saying you didn't know my answer. Last time I was asked that question, I said Lewis Ferguson.
And as I said, it's Nisbet or Ferguson.
Oh, so I thought you were expecting me to go Nisbet. No,
I said Nisbet or Ferguson because I knew it'd be one of the 2. So.
Oh right, okay. I thought the question was to choose between the 2. Why did you say Nisbet? Why were you?
Because, did you not listen to what I was saying? I said I already know the answer to this question. It's either Nisbet or Ferguson. Then I turned to Kieran and I said best player outside the Old
So
Firm.
why couldn't you just let me pick one or the other?
Stop throwing your toys at the palm. Honestly, jeez.
Right, Instagram.
Instagram.
Right, what have we got? Jordan Crone asks, "Is Wee Joe better than Ryan Mulroney at the L Football?"
No. But I'd be
on today's performance, Jordan's son, not a problem. Jack Scott Laurie asks, "Does Big Chipper get the sack if he loses this weekend?"
Yes. I don't know because the financial impact has come in.
I mean, like the thing is, if they're going to sack him for not winning, for getting beat at Tannadice, that seems a bit bizarre. Then why wouldn't you have just done it beforehand? So no, I don't think so.
Nah,
if they get humped again, yes.
Nah, I feel like that's a good argument in terms of who did they bring in, if it actually happens.
Would you be surprised if Martin Cannon ended up putting the trackie back on again?
I mean, they sacked him for a lot less than what they've sacked what they haven't sacked Brian Rice for, so I don't know. Matthew Glenn asks, I hate this question, sorry Matthew, but because the answer I think is just I don't think anyone really knows. Will the remaining goal for games decide the league?
I hate the question.
I don't. We said last season at the start of last season that they would, and they made zero difference because you know Rangers over the course of the Old Firm games were the better team, and then just folded. So. I tell you what,
can I just quickly say my arse is in tatters.
I think that the Celtic need to win some Old Firm games. They need to win at least two of the next 3. I think if they're going to win the league.
Nice. Okay.
You agree with that?
Yes, Kieran.
We need to lay down a marker on the next one. I think just we kind of get away with playing piss poor in them because you're not going to be champions playing like that.
What would it like? This is a video in itself, but just really quickly for Celtic and Old Firms, like what do they need to change? Is there a specific thing, personnel, tactics, like?
Everything.
Because like
everything. The passion.
I know they haven't. Last time Celtic had the full strength team against Rangers, it's probably not been for a long time.
Oof.
But I mean, I don't think that's the reason they get beat though. I think it's deeper rooted than that.
No.
But I mean, would just having the full strength team make a difference?
It's so hard to put your finger on back because I mean, if you look back at last season, we played really well in the 2-0 game at Ibrox, and then it got to the cup final and we actually won that game by the skin of our teeth. Like, it was horrific to be there to actually watch.
Aye.
I mean, absolute relief when the final whistle went.
Oh,
but
aye.
I mean, to then go, I don't even know how I was feeling going into the 2-1 game at Parkhead. If I was confident or if I was just trying to act confident.
I'm trying to remember back to that day, and I think I was confident because we were at Celtic Park.
I
I
just
said we'll definitely improve on what we've done at Hampden.
But then even that 2-0 game you talk about, Celtic were really good that day, but Rangers were woeful that day. Like, it wasn't like, I know Celtic were good, but it just seems like this. I don't know if it's. It's hard to say it's a mental thing, but how would it be? Because I mean, Celtic's players as a whole have genuinely been more experienced in that game than Rangers have. So
it's a mental one.
That is a massive game. The next one, we thought the last one was big. The build up to the next one will be huge. Breeze Celtic asks, Steve Clark statue?
Yes.
Not yet.
Nah, yes.
David Marshall statue though. David Marshall statue.
I'd give my statue.
We need to get something of David Marshall on this wall, man. We do. I mean, he's just a hero, isn't he?
Nah, he's got to go up there somewhere.
What a fella, man.
Get a photo of like me and Kieran and you.
Did I show you that video of Donald Trump with David Marshall on the back?
You've been obsessed with it.
I just love David Marshall. I made that my temporary profile picture on Facebook, but I don't want it to change. I think I might just leave it until the end of the
You
Euros.
must be jealous of us.
And Kobe Henderson asks, Ferguson and McCrory, the Scottish coming of Xavi and Iniesta?
No.
Not a chance.
Okay.
Who is it, Ferguson and who?
McCrory.
Bloody hell. Jesus Christ. Come on.
I like the two. Tell you what though, it's mad how like McGregor, McGinn and Jack are Busquets, Xavi and Iniesta, isn't it? Like,
Nah, that's merit
That's
itself.
what it would be.
Nah, no, it's just crazy how...
You know who we forgot about the
Matthew
other day
is
when we did that predict the squad video? For right wing back, Ross McCrory's a shout. For right wing, he's playing it for Aberdeen.
True.
Didn't even come to my head, but
True.
taking him in the squad would be good because he can play anywhere. He'd be really good.
I think he would get in over Palmer for me.
Yeah, and not even that.
No,
You could play him if McTominay got injured. He would play that right role. Really.
Aye.
Play midfield.
Right, okay. Is that it?
Yes.
That's it. So, we're coming to the very end, and I will keep the people happy. We have had a long show today. Like, this is the longest one I think we might have, by the time we've ever done.
No, it's not. It'll be silly.
No, I think it genuinely might be. We're on an hour and 2 minutes the time I do this
We've done
quiz.
more
and
than
that's
that.
up.
Oh, there's a quiz to come. Woohoo.
So, you've got to get 5 questions each.
You are the weakest
Scottish
thing.
football.
Goodbye.
The winner, it's a penalty shootout basically.
Turn that laptop around.
Penalty shootout basically. So, Keir, need cheating. I know how he works. Scottish football quiz. It's all very look. There's some very easy questions in here. I'm going to flip a coin.
We've only put me against Dev before, and I beat Dev, so I'm technically undefeated.
So I'm going to flip a coin to see who gets the first question because I don't want anybody
That's
greeting
not a
about
coin. That's a big coin. That.
Yeah, that's funny.
Sorry, pigeon.
I'm going to flip a coin, and because Kieran is the new man around here and the new guest, Kieran, heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails never fails.
City, flip a coin. And we're waiting. And it's tails.
Tails never fails, man.
So, do you want...
I'll go first.
No, I don't know the answer to that. I said, do you want set A or set B?
Set
Is this a chase?
Set A, okay. What?
Is this a chase?
It's a final chase. See, the new chaser today.
Aye.
New chaser, aye.
Specky from East End.
Shut up. Right, okay, set A. That means right.
Who's your favourite chaser?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Mine's has always been Big Sean Wallace. Mine's has always
Dark
been
Destroyer.
Sean Wallace. He's always been mine.
I bet he seems like a sound fella, him.
Aye, you?
I'm here, Gilly.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah, she's,
Frosty Nichols. Oh, aye.
She's a wee bit of nice, aren't she? No, she's the best by far.
Who's yours? Oh, it's a her, aye.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
well.
love it.
Nice. Okay, right, question start now. Penalty shootout. No time limits or nothing, don't worry. Out of the 4 divisions of the Scottish Professional Football League, which club comes last alphabetically? Will it be saved by David Marshall? Or will it be scored by David Buick? It struck me by surprise, I'll tell you that. This is me doing the job of Bradley Walsh and having to fill in the gaps.
Keep going.
You sitting there trying to think as well?
Aye.
It's actually quite a hard one. I never expected the answer.
Stennersmuir.
Oh!
Stranraer.
Bugger! Did you take your first answer? Stranraer's
Stranraer,
correct.
innit?
Stranraer's
Oh.
correct. So he's missed his
I was
first
thinking
penalty.
Stennis Bjorn.
Aye, Stranraer it is. Okay, right.
That's shocking. That.
Question 2. There's one question in here which is so easy, and if whoever gets that right could win it. I don't know who has it yet though. Which Scottish club's ground gets its name from the Pictish for place of manure? I don't know what Pictish is.
It's like an old language.
Yeah.
Like
Aye.
Pict.
Place of
So,
manure.
place of manure. Which Scottish
Don't say that, don't.
Premiership club ground gets its name
Premiership,
from
right.
Pictish for the place
Oh,
of
I've got a great
manure.
idea.
Premiership.
Aye. It's a one that I wouldn't have a clue what Pictish is if it came up to me. It would just be. You've got 12 to choose for. So
I've got a good idea. I mean, it doesn't get passed over, does it?
no, but you can have a guess before I tell you the answer. Pictish.
Just guess a ground.
Oh.
Which Ross County's ground again?
The simple digital, whatever it's called. The
I know,
global
but-
energies.
I think it's Victoria Park.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Oh, fuck it, I don't get that.
You just passing.
Guess one.
One out of 12 teams.
Go for the one up in Dingwall.
Right, okay, you're going with
Just 'cause-
Victoria
I'm
Park.
gonna say Pataudry.
Pataudry's correct,
Ah,
you would have got
sure,
it
man.
right, but
That's
still
sure.
0-0, it's everything to play
Just trying to
for.
think of like one that's a weird word. That
Alright, okay, next question then. Oh, question 3, Christ. There's a lot that are easy in this. No, that's a rank quiz I'm looking at, sorry. I've scrolled down. Right, here we go, sorry, here we go. Question 3. when the first ever Scotland versus England match
Rangers.
was played. Is that your answer?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, you're right.
Queen's Park.
Queen's Park. It didn't even get finished.
What was the
question, I know. When the first ever Scotland versus England match was played in 1872, the Scottish team were made up entirely of players from
I
which
just had a
club?
feeling that would be the question.
And you were wrong.
Yeah.
So now Kieran, you have the chance to take a lead again. Question 4. Who holds the record for Scotland international appearances, having played 102 times?
Oh my god, it's
Dalglish.
embarrassing.
Kenny Dalglish is correct.
Good, I would have struggled with that.
Would
I would
you?
have got it eventually, but it's embarrassing it didn't come to me
Kenny
straight away.
Dalglish is correct, so Kieran has the lead. Question number 5. Who was the manager of Scotland at the 1986 World Cup?
86.
86.
Alex Ferguson.
Correct, he's on the wall. Alec Ferguson's right. It's
Would have
1-0.
been Jock Stein,
But
but-
Kieran could go up 2-1 here with the easiest question of the whole
Fuck,
thing.
This is so much pressure.
If you could go up
If
to
you
what?
go
Did I go
up
first?
2-1,
Did I go
you've got
first
nothing
one?
right so far, mate.
Sugar,
Nothing.
that's dreadful.
This is, if you go to this one, you're
Should have taken set B.
he's never. Is that why is it went black?
I don't know. I better be
Oh,
recording.
it's alright. It's fine because we've got the audio anyway. So people have watched it to this point. Right, okay. Which club did Celtic famously beat to win the European Cup in 1967,
Oh my
and who
Christ.
was the manager?
Well, Inter Milan and then Jock Stein.
Jock Stein, correct. Kieran's up 2-1. That's what you get for picking set A, mate. That's what you get for picking set A. Right, next question, David, to make it 2-2. In 2001, the Scottish FA appointed the first ever non-Scottish national team coach. Who was he? And this and this manager's lowest point was considered to be a 2-2 draw against which team?
Bertie Votes in the Faroe Islands.
Correct, that's right. So it's 2-2. Kieran can take the lead 3-2 once again.
No, I video the other day that.
Yep, we did. Queen of the South are located in which Scottish market town?
Easy questions, man. Boy doesn't know anything about the championship. That's
Aye.
superb.
Which Scottish market town are Queen of the South?
Market Town.
Aye. And the answer's no, the Barrowlands.
I don't even know.
I wouldn't know. I didn't know this.
Really?
I didn't know this was where they were from. I knew they were from down that way, neck of the woods, but I would
In
never
terms
have known.
of Scottish geography as well, you're saying down there. I'm like, what the fuck is
You're
down
helping them
there?
out now, you clown. He's peace.
Don't worry, I don't know the south. Dumfries.
Oh, he got it
Not,
right!
not a fan of the Queen either.
Dumfries is correct, which means Kieran takes the lead. Question number
Neither you knew that.
9. Oh, sorry, 6 questions each. Question number 9. Which club did Sir Alec Ferguson make 95 appearances for between 1969 and 1973 before finishing his player career with Ayr United?
Rangers?
No.
Shit, because he was Dunfermline from 60. Oh, Jesus.
Correct
Christ.
answer's Falkirk.
Aye.
Aye,
When was it
Falkirk,
Rangers
correct.
then?
That was earlier on, I think it was when he was a young boy. I'm sure.
That's dreadful. man.
Right, question 10, Kieran, to go up 4-2. Is it 4-2?
No.
Which team plays at East End Park? Nicknamed the Pars and won the Scottish Cup twice.
That would Dunfermline, Ryan.
You would be correct, sir. Right, David, you are officially beaten, but we will finish the
I
question.
got every single one of your questions right. That's dreadful.
You picked the wrong set. What collective name is given for the rivalry between Celtic and Rangers?
It was good, Derby.
You actually
Depends who you ask.
Oh,
If you ask Kenny Miller, it's a game between friends.
Oh, well, the answer's out. I'll give you the point. 4-3. And Kieran to win 5-3.
It's just when it's an on the buzzer round, even though we don't have a buzzer.
Aye, and which club formed in the 1990s won the Scottish Cup? Oh my God, I just got a pain shooting through my ribs. Jesus.
He won't get this.
Won the Scottish Cup in 2015.
Oh, mate, dude, you've given the year.
Oh, Inverness.
Inverness is correct, which means the final score in penalties is 5-3. Very entertaining there towards the end, boys. Enjoyed that. Next time,
I didn't enjoy
next time you're finding the quiz because I want to
it.
partake.
No, because that's not my job.
What is your job? It seems it's nothing.
Well, it's why I'm being phased out, but
in the doorway next week.
Kieran, it has been an honour to have you on. I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully next week for the next preview show or whenever we work out what's happening with schedule. Still a long way to go, and hopefully we'll be on discussing the Celtic win. David, I wish you the best tomorrow at the press. Don't get lost, come home safe.
It's so mad because one day I'm going to miss that train.
And I'm going to have to drive to Fife to get you. You're stood in the freezing cold.
That's going to be hellish, that.
Any
I
final...
really want the petrol money to the penny too, you know what he's like. And his expenses for getting out of bed.
Final thoughts, anybody?
I'm just still on a high, you know that. Like, I'm buzzing after last week still. It'll take me a long time to get over this. I was just thinking earlier today, I wish I could relive it.
Nice.
I wish, like...
It was a good moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. Ryan Chris's interview, did you like that?
Oh, aye.
That was the best. Oh, that's amazing.
Kieran, final thoughts, anything?
I mean, as much as I've enjoyed the international break, I'm glad to be getting back to club football, and I'm also glad that it's not going to be international until March, just purely for the whole COVID thing as well.
That's the biggest part. I mean, in my opinion, in hindsight, I was thinking these international breaks should never have happened, but they have now produced probably the best moment of 2020.
But I tell you what, players who are like outside the Scotland squad will be raging there's no international breaks because there's so many at a time that went in that squad now, which is just
We're
exciting.
just going to have to take the club level. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening on Spotify, YouTube, whatever the rest of it is. Make sure to check out Mostro Clothing as well in the description.
New t-shirt
coming soon, very soon. So make sure to keep up with our social channels as well on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Link in the top line, boys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next time.